Hiya, welcome back to this Let's Build ASP.NET MVC series. This is the final whistle project and it's part 7. This is, we go to GitHub, it was actually going to be in stage 6, automatically generate a league table from the matches with each team name linking to the team page. So the team page would be the stuff that we've done previously. So if we click on all teams, if this is running, it is running, isn't it? Basically, let's have a quick run through, just a quick overview of where we are. So we've got the latest match, we've got all the match reports. We can click on an individual match report to view it, especially that Spurs result against Newcastle, and we've got a list of all the different teams. If we click on the different teams, we can see a history of all of the home games they've done, the away games they've done, and we can also filter it. So if I was to choose, say for instance, Manchester United, we can view all of the games against Stoke only, or we can view all the games against Spurs, of which there were none, or we can go back to the page and then we can view the one against Leicester. And this is completely dynamically generated based on the data we've entered into the admin system. So we haven't actually, this isn't actually sort of static pages, it's all generated on the fly based on the stuff that we've entered in here. We can like create new teams and stuff like that. We obviously haven't done any styling on that yet, but that's something you can do as kind of your homework. And I'm saying homework because this is kind of a project for my son. If you've watched any of the earlier videos to figure out what it is that we're getting up to, and this is a project for my son Joshua. Hello again. He basically wanted to learn how to make a dynamic website, and since he's football crazy, I decided that this would be a good example. So we can manage teams, we can manage matches between those teams, and we can write match reports on the matches that have happened. And they're all displayed on the front end. So again, we've got the latest match here. We can view a match report, we can view all the match reports, we can view all the teams, blah 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 blah. But what we're going to do now is we're going to create a league table based on all of the stuff that we've entered into the database. We're not entering any more data in, we're going to just use the stuff that we've already used, that we've already set up. And this is basically the part that it's going to be probably the most complicated, but it'll kind of give you an idea of what it is you can do with the data once it's in the database, and why a website running off a database is sort of much easier to maintain than a one that you have to sort of update the pages each time sort of manually. I mean, at the end of the day, when we're creating new matches and new match reports, all of these pages are going to update themselves, and the league table will follow as well, because it's based on the result of the matches that you actually enter in. So you'll never actually have to maintain the front end of the website. You'll spend most of your time in the admin actually managing the reports, and anyone who visits the website will just see the updated content based on what you've entered in. So anyway, let's crack on. So we want the league table page. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a new controller called, I'll just have to pause that, or stop that rather, before I can do this. We're going to create a new controller called, we'll call it tables. It's good a name as any, really. So empty controller tables, and you'll see in the views folder we will have a new folder called tables. We just need to create a blank view to match this this method here in the controller called index. So we'll create a new one, new view, and it's going to be called index. It's going to use the front end template. We could use the admin template, but that would be pointless. So front end template, click on add, and then we'll just edit it to be an H1 at the top, and we will call it league table. So I should be able to run that now. In fact, no, I can't run that yet because we've got to change the link. So open up the layout page. We see the navigation bar. We'll just edit that link so it points to tables. So if I click F5 to start the build, it says build started. Build succeeded. So if I refresh the page, this should now link to the controller called tables. We should view be able to see our index page, and it should just say league table at the top. So if I click on that, there you go, league table. So we've got a blank slate. We're actually going to be creating a league table in this page here. So let's figure out what it is that we're actually going to create. Well, if you've ever seen the BBC website, the BBC Sport website, they have like a league table of all the different teams with matches played, matches won, lost, drawn, the goals that have been scored for and against, the goal difference, and the actual points that the team's currently on. So we're going to do all that. So what we need to do is we need to just decide what it is we're going to store. So let's go back to the view, and we'll just set up a simple table. These are the table headings. Oops. So first of all, we're going to have a position. It'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Position. In fact, I'm just going to do this like that so I can copy and paste these because I'm lazy. So we want that. I'll just create a few. Don't actually know how many there's going to be. So a position. Then we'll have the team name. Then we'll have the number of wins, we'll have the number of draws, the number of losses, we'll have the goals for, against, the difference, and the number of points that the team actually has in the league. Now what this is going to, if I refresh this page actually, you'll be able to see the table. It's going to be unstyled, so what we need to do is we probably need to do some nice styling to make it look a little bit better. So let's just quickly do that. I've actually already done it in the style sheet for the admin. So if we go into site.css in the styles folder in content, just go down to the bottom. There is a thing here called, well, you can see there, it starts off with the table headings and the table definition, the cells. So we'll just copy and paste those three classes and we'll put them just above the footer, and we'll just get rid of admin from there. And that should sort out. If I just click save and then refresh back, you can see we've got it nicely styled, so at least it's not going to look a little bit rubbish. At least we'll be able to see what's going on and it'll look half decent. So as you can see, we're going to create a list of all of these different teams on our system, and it's going to have the number of wins, draws and losses, the goals that they've scored for and against, the difference between those two, the for and against, and the number of points they actually have. So this is actually what we need to be displaying. We can't just display the team names because we have no way of figuring out what the points and stuff are. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a new class that sort of replicates what we need into the league table, and we'll just call that a league table result. So if you right click on models and just say add, no, you need to stop the thing from running first. Right click on models, click on add, another class, and we'll just call this a league table result. It's going to create a new class, and all we need to do is we need to create properties for this type of item, and they should match what it is that we're going to be displaying in the actual league table itself. So firstly, we're going to need the team name. Or are we? Because actually what we're going to do is when we create the team name, it's going to have like a list of all the teams, but we should be able to click on the team to view the team page, as if we had sort of clicked through into this page here to view a list of all of the different teams. What's it doing now? So the idea being really that if we clicked on league tables, there would be a Liverpool, Leicester, whatever, and we could actually click on it to take it directly to the games that they had played throughout the season. So what we need to actually do first is not store the team name, but we need the ID, because if we look, we needed to replicate this, and the URL actually has an ID at the end of it. If you look at the bottom left, it says teams view 8 or teams view 2, 3, whatever. So we need to actually store that even though it isn't displayed in our league table. So the first property we create in our result would be the team ID, and obviously that's an integer value because it's numeric. In fact, most of these are going to be numeric. I'm just going to copy and paste again to save some time. Incidentally, if you're creating a property, you don't actually have to type this all out. You can just type in prop for property, then hit tab twice, and it writes it out for you. So dead simple. Saves you some keystrokes anyway. So we're going to have a team ID. We want the team name, but that is going to be a string value, an alphanumeric value. Then if we look back at our table, we need the number of wins, draws and losses. So wins, draws, losses, goals for, and goals against, then goal difference, and finally the number of points. So we don't need that last one there, get rid of it. So that's our model there. We've got the team ID and the team name, and they're going to be used for generating our link in this column here. We don't actually need the position because that's going to be calculated automatically, and we've got numeric values for the rest of them. So what we need to do is we need to get that, and just remember that it's called a league table result, and what we actually need to do is create a list of league table results based on all of the teams that we have in our system. Because when you think about it, this whole table is generated based around the concept of a team and the number of points it has, the number of wins they've had, and the number of draws, etc, etc, etc. So the fundamental thing to this table is the teams. So when we go into our tables controller, what we're actually going to do is we're going to create a new list of type league table result. Now it's not going to recognize what that is because we haven't done the standard thing of telling it where it exists. Final whistle dot models. So now it's green. Now it knows what type of object that is. And what we need to do is we need to access all of the teams. So if we open up a connection to our teams repository, teams repository teams rep equals new teams, and then we can say var all teams equals teams rep dot find all teams or get all teams, and then we can say if there are any teams, we can then loop through them and we can just say for each team T in all team team T in all teams. So hopefully you're following along. We're basically getting a list of all of the teams from our repository, that line there. Then if any teams exist, we're going through them all and we're going to do some actions each time we find a team. So each time we find a team, we're going to create a new item, a new league table result, res, and if I type in res dot, we can see all of the different aspects of a league table result. So we need to fill this in. So the very first thing we do is we'll say res dot team name, or team ID, sorry, is t dot id. Res dot team name equals t dot team name. So we're actually starting creating this list. So if I was to flick back to the well, actually, I'll come back here. What we need to do is when we get to the we'll do the rest of the properties in a moment. But as we're looping through, we need to add each result to the list of results. So we should just say results dot add and the actual result that we're working on here, the league table result. So we're actually adding this league table result after we've created it to the results, which is a list there. So what we can actually do is we can either add it as a view data. Or we could add it as a model. I'll just stick with view data because it's easier for these purposes. So view data results equals results. So we're basically passing this in, and now what we need to do is we need to go back to our league table and get rid of that. We need to go and create our sort of our rows in the database, or rows in the table that sort of correspond to each result in the results that we're sending through. So we'll say if view data results is not null, then we'll do the following. Else, I will just leave the else. Can't really be bothered. So for each one, we'll say for each, and it is a league table result. Again, we need to add the use in here. Final whistle dot models, so it knows what we're talking about. So for each league table result, res in IE numerable of type league table result view data results. So basically just a standard thing to kind of loop through all of the different league table results within the view data. Now for this one we need to just write out a new table row for each one, and then we would have a td dot with the position. We'll leave that for the moment. We'll just put a blank sign in. Now we need let's just copy and paste. We need res dot team name, and we'll just leave the rest of them blank. Now how many have I got here? Let's just make sure we've got the correct amount. So just convert these into dashes for now. We'll fill them out as we progress. So if I save that now and just run it, what it's going to do is it's just going to have a list of all of the different team names. So like the first part of creating this table was just to actually create a list of all of the results in the database, of all the teams in the database. There we go, it's ready. So if I refresh, we should just have a list of teams in that team name column. There we go. Oops, forgot to convert those to TDs. Sorry about that. So if we go back, now we should have our table sort of set up. And again, this is just all the teams. It's not ordered by anything at the moment, but next thing to do is to sort of link these up to the actual team page. So what we'll do there is just add a link, and it will be teams, view, and then res.id, because again we're oh yeah, sorry, because it's a result, we've actually got the team ID. I need the bracket in there. Whoa, what's going on here? You know, sometimes I really hate this autocomplete. Sometimes it works really well, but other times it just gets in the way. So now we've got a link to each team, to the team's controller, to the view for that specific team ID. So if I refresh that, these should all be links now, and actually from the league table I should be able to click through to the actual team page. So there you go, this should take you to the Manchester United page. So again, it's all dynamic. We haven't added any more data, but we're now making it work for us. So the first thing to do now is to, well, let's do the wins, I guess. So what we need to do is we need to get a list of all of the matches that have happened, and we then need to filter it based on the current team that we're working for. So as we loop through here, we need to put just a thing in here. We're now going to calculate the number of wins for this team. So remember, there are two different types of win. There's a home win, and there is an away win. So what we need to do is we need to define something called wins. We'll just call int wins equals 0. And the next thing we need to do is we actually need to arguably the first thing we should have done is just create in memory a list of all of the different matches that have happened. So what we'll do is up here we'll actually say match repository matches repository matches rep dot equals new, and we'll just say all matches equals matches rep dot get all matches. So what we need to do is to calculate the number of wins, we actually need to determine how many matches we played either home or away. So for that purpose we need to say var all my matches, all team matches equals all matches that we've just gotten from our repository dot where home team ID equals t.id, because we're working on a specific team, or k.away team ID equals t.id. So basically what we're doing is because we're working on a specific team, we only want the matches where we were either the home team or the away team. So we've put that into all team matches because we're currently looping through a list of all of the teams. So this is only relevant to the specific team that we're working on. And to calculate the number of wins, we need to say we need to get all of the home team, where we were the home team, we need to get those into a list, and we also need to get the list of away games that we played where we were the away team. I'm just trying to figure this through because what we're actually, the whole outcome of this is just to sort of calculate whether, if we were the home team, was the home team score higher than the away team score, and if we were the away team, was the away team score higher than the home team. So what we need to do there is let me figure this out. So all team home matches equals all team matches dot where oops right. Now there's probably a more elegant way to do this, but this is just how I'm going to do this for this particular demo, because I'm trying to keep it as clear as possible. So we've got all of the matches that our team was involved with, and where they were either the home team or the away team. Then we are specifying from this, we're going through them all and separating them out. So we're getting all the matches where we were the home team, and we're going through again to see which ones where we were the away team. So what we need to do is we need to determine for each of these were we the winner. So what we can do is we can say for each match M in all team home matches, if M dot home team goals or home goals was greater than M dot away goals, add 1 to the wins. So wins increase by 1. That the plus plus means just increase it. We could just say wins equals wins plus 1. And again, we can do that for the away results as well. So if the away goals were greater than the home goals in all of the all team away matches, then again we increase the wins. But we can actually we can also do this for the losses and the draws, because we already know when we were playing home and we were playing away. So we can actually say int losses equals 0, int draws equals 0. So in each one of these we can do another condition. So in the home matches, if m dot home matches home goals were less than the away goals, we say losses plus plus. If m dot home goals were equal to m dot away goals, we can say draws plus plus. And I'll just copy and paste these into the other one, into the away things. So again we need to switch these over. Away goals less than home goals, or if that one actually can stay the same, because although for consistency let's just put it right. So we're basically just checking to see whether the away goals were equal to the home goals, resulting in a draw. So now after we've done all these ones, we can actually update our results. So res dot wins equals wins, res dot losses equals losses, res dot draws equals draws. And now if we go back to our league table on the page, in the right column we can say, so we've got the team name, then it's wins, draws and losses. So we can say at res dot wins, at res dot losses, or draws, and at res dot losses. So now if I run that, just hitting F5, build started, build succeeded. If I refresh that page, we should have a column showing all the wins, draws and losses for each specific team, because we're updating the result for each one. There we go. So you can see Spurs have won 1, they've drawn none, and they've obviously lost none. It's not in any particular order at the moment, but we can see all of the different matches here. So you can see Manchester United won twice, and that was against Stoke, so you can see they lost twice, but they've also drawn 1. If we go to their page, who did they win against? When it comes up, who did Stoke win against? They won there. They won 8-4 against Sunderland. So again, if we press back, we can see Sunderland, they've had 2 losses. If we click on the Sunderland page, They had 2 losses. They beat Newcastle. They got beat off Newcastle United, and they also got beat off Stoke. So it is corresponding. They've got 2 losses in the league table, no wins and no draws. So it's working so far, all good. Now we want to calculate what the for goals were and the against goals were. So the way to do that is to go back to the controller, press stop, and well, I guess what we could do is we could just create a new loop to go through all of the different matches. So for each match M in all matches. Nope, that's not right. We need to do it on a home and away basis. So for this one, we need to count the number of home goals. So again, we need to go at the top and we need to say int for goals. Oops. Or goals for equals naught. Int goals against. Oh, I can't even. Equals naught. So in each one here, as we're going through all the matches, we can say goals for equals home goals. Oh, sorry, m.home goals. Goals against equals m.away goals. Oh, sorry, plus equals. Now, why is it doing that? Goals against. Cannot implicitly convert type. Why is it doing that? Ah, that's because that could be specified as a null value. We just need to cast that as an integer. It's always going to be an integer. Sorry, that's because in the database we've actually specified that away goals could be set to nothing, which is probably incorrect, but it's quite easy to solve in the code just by telling the Visual Studio that the home goals is an integer value. So basically what we're doing there is we're increasing the goals for by the number of home goals, we're increasing the goals against by the number of away goals, and we need to do the opposite in the away team matches. Goals for would be the away goals, and the goals against would be the home goals. So now we've got these variables set up, and we can basically put that into our result. So res.goals for equals goals for, res.goals against equals goals against, goals against. And now the goal difference we don't actually even need to calculate, because we can just say res dot goal difference equals, well, I guess if the goals for is bigger than the goals against, although we'll just get a minus value. So right, what we can do there is we can say we can just say goals for minus goals against. Now that might actually give us like a minus value. So if the goals for is less than goals against, it'll say like -6. Is that's what we want, isn't it? Yes. Never mind. I'm just going off on one. Right. So goals for, we can enter into our view res.goals for. I'm just going to copy and paste because it's probably easier than me typing with my fat fingers. So goals against and goal difference. There we go. If I press F5, we should now have a list of all the goals for and goals against in our table for each team, and also the difference. And the difference was just calculated being the difference between the goals for and the goals against. So it's getting pretty full on now. So there you go, we've got a difference of 5 there because we've scored 5 against 0, and I think that was against Newcastle, wasn't it, Josh? So you can see we've got -2 goal difference there for Newcastle United. How unfortunate, because they've had 7 scored against them and 5 scored for them. Sunderland aren't doing too well. So have they really had 13 scored against them? Let's just double check that. So 13 against them and 6 for. So if we click through to view their matches, 13 against them. Just wait for my laptop to wind up. 13 against them. So 8 there and 5 here they have. And they've scored 6. 2 there and 4 there. So 13 against and 6 for. Yeah, so it is calculating them properly. That's surprising, but maybe it's not because of who it is. Never mind. So yeah, the difference anyway is -7. So it is actually showing the proper difference. So that's that final column. Now that's that difference column. So the final column is the points. So how are we going to calculate that? Well, we know that we get 3 points for a win, we get 1 point for a draw, and none for a loss. So the dead easy thing to do here is to say, right, go back to the controller. We start off with 0 points. So int points equals 0. And now we know that this is a win. So we can say points equals points plus 3. And again, if it's a loss, we would just plus 0, but we don't actually have to put that in, but just for clarity I'll do it. Or we could just say points equals points plus 1 for a draw. And again, we need to do that in the away. We need to say points equals points plus 3, points equals points plus 0, points equals points plus 1 for a draw. And then here we just need to put res dot points equals points. Dead simple. Go back to our view and just say res dot points. So I should be able to press F5 to run that, and when I refresh this page again, it should actually calculate the number of points. Now it's not in any specific order at the moment, so it won't be correct, but it will be showing the correct number of points based on the number of wins. So there you go, we've got 2 wins for Man United, 6 points, 1 win for Spurs with 3, no wins for Liverpool with 0, 1 win for Newcastle, that's showing 3, so that's all working correctly. There haven't actually been any draws, so maybe we should create a new draw. So let's create a new thing in the admin just to demonstrate how this is working. So we'll go to matches. We'll say there was a new match, and it was between Spurs and Leicester City. It was 1-1. And it was played, what's today's date? It was played the 25th of September 2016 at 3 o'clock. We'll create that. We'll add just a brief report, a new match report. Sorry about my laptop, needs wound up or something. Click on add the latest match, so you can see that was a draw. So we'll just say this was a test result for our league table. Create that. Now that should actually have updated the front page of the website because it's the most recent match report. So go back to the website and we should just have it. There we go, the front page is updated because that's a new match report. It was done today. Let's view the match report and it should show the text underneath. Now if we go to our league table, we should now have a draw against Tottenham, and we've also got a draw against Leicester. So now they've got 4 points because they've got a win and a loss, a win and a draw. Same with Spurs, win and a draw. So that's all working absolutely perfectly. So the final thing we need to do is order it by the number of points that the team has. So the way we do that is just go to the controller, and because we're actually creating a set of league table results, once we finish looping through the each team and we get to the bottom of that, now remember we're actually adding each result to our results list. What we can do is when we go to assign it to the view data that gets sent to the view, we can just say, right, order by descending points. Dead simple. Press F5. Build started. Build succeeded. Refresh the page, and this should be ordered by the winning teams all the way down to the bottom. And that is how you create a league table. There you go, 6 4 4 3 3 0 0. So you can see Liverpool getting relegated. Good. I mean, what we also can do is we can extend that, because if two teams are tied, as you can see here, this the Newcastle should actually be below Stoke by right, because the goal difference is actually better for Stoke. So I'll show you what we can do here is we can actually add other parameters. We can say, so it's ordering by descending first by points. Then we can say dot then by descending dot then by, is that descending? Yeah, it would be descending. The goal difference. So if I press F5 again and then refresh the page when it's finished, build started. If you watch Stoke and Newcastle, they should actually switch over, because -2 goal difference is worse than 0, even though they've both got 3 points. So just watch them. So now Newcastle are below Stoke in the league. So we can see this is actually a correct league table. Now, if there were two teams that had the same goal difference, we would then go for the goals scored in order by that, and then the number of wins, etc., etc., how it works. But that's basically how you're using your data to actually generate a league tables, which is quite handy on a website like this. Now, last thing to do is no biggie really. We need to just put the positions in there. And the way we're going to do that is we don't even need to go back to the controller. We can just hit our view here, and we can just put a count in here. So int count equals 0. And then for each one we will just say count plus plus. So each one we go through, we'll increase the number of counts, so it'll go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3. And in this one we will just put the value of count in there. I'll refresh that page and it should just automatically put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in there. So we've actually got a full working table. Dead easy, and it's pre-calculated. I mean, we could convert these things here into, we could order the table by whatever it is that we want to order by. If you'd like me to teach you how to do that, then I will do. But basically we would just convert these to links, and we would just add a parameter to the query string to tell it which column that we wanted to order it by, and then we would just detect that in our controller, and when we came to order the stuff, we would just detect what the user had, which column they had clicked on, and then that would determine what bits that we put on the end here, so that when it got sent through it reflected what they were trying to do. So if we clicked order my table by the number of losses, then it would just be order by dot losses. You see what I mean? So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this series. I hope it hasn't been too much of a disaster. I know I lost my way a few times, but like I say, I was just kind of working on the fly, hadn't really planned it any more than sort of the sections that I was going to do. So hopefully you'll find some use in this tutorial. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed already, please do so, and I look forward to seeing you in the next series. I don't know what it's going to be, but hopefully it'll be helpful, and hopefully you've gotten something out of this one. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Alright, thanks.